So Pokemon Legends ZA has now been out for 2 weeks, and we have got to discuss the elephant in the room. Zygarde has gotten a Mega Evolution in the new game, and it is potentially the strongest Pokemon we have ever seen before. Today, I'm going to break down the newly introduced Mega Zygarde and what I predict for this incredibly powerful Pokemon. This video will contain spoilers, so be warned. Let's get into it. First off, guys, I gotta give some major respect to Game Freak for what they cooked up here. Pokemon that have never special attacked before are now special attacking with 200 base power moves and 584 special attack. How did it get to this point? Well, don't worry, I'm here to explain. A lot of you have been asking me, is Mega Zygarde gonna be the new GOAT? And we're gonna find out. But really, like with every new game, we push the power creep further and further. And I remember back in Pokemon Black and White, aka the Stone Age, people thought V-Create on Victini was the new most overpowered move of all time. And you know what? At the time, it really was. But fast forward to 2025, and we got this new move, 16 PP, 200 base power, Dragon, that goes through stat boosts and also hits fairies for neutral damage. Game Freak, you son of a bitch. Well done. Anyways, I saw this meme on social media, and this more or less accurately reflects how I feel about this Mega Zygarde debacle. Pokemon Company truly cannot stop glazing this guy. Nihil Light means it's on its 5th signature move. Bro, a vast majority of Pokemon do not even get 1 signature move, and very, very rarely a true boss Pokemon will get 2. But why does Zygarde have 5? I mean, we all know that Pokemon Company feels bad about canceling Pokemon Z, since that was going to be Zygarde's time to shine. But bro, this guy did not need another form, and certainly not a form that could potentially be the strongest Pokemon ever. But in any case, I'm still very hyped, because I love seeing new power levels being breached in competitive Pokemon. Keeps it exciting, and it gets harder and harder to wrap your brain around with each generation. Anyways, let's get into it. So before I break down the set, we gotta talk some history behind Zygarde, since if you didn't play Generation 7 OU, you might not even really know what this Pokemon used to get up to. So, Zygarde got access to its most broken move, 1000 Arrows, in Generation 7. This was a 90 base power physical ground move that knocks flying Pokemon down the same way Smackdown does, and this move is also neutral on flying types to begin with. So this was objectively the most broken move a Pokemon could have at the time, because there was no switch into a boosted Zygarde, since this move was capable of hitting almost every Pokemon neutrally or super effectively. People would use bulky Pokemon like Clefable to try and beat Zygarde even with Unaware, so Zygarde couldn't click Dragon Dance and get past it, but eventually, people figured out that you could just run Glare plus Substitute to fish for full paralysis against these bulkier Pokemon like Clefable, and then eventually, your Zygarde will end up 1v1ing that Pokemon due to the nature of paralysis. And Zygarde already had really amazing bulk and a solid enough typing. Like, we've seen Dragon Ground before on Garchomp, and Garchomp runs a defensive set all the time, so it was really no surprise that Zygarde was also capable of pulling off this very effective bulky sweeper set. But in any case, Zygarde was banned after causing damage to Generation 7 OU for more than a year, and it's honestly shocking that it stayed around for so long. Personally, I had my own disgusting Zygarde team that I would spam in some tournaments. It was Dragon Dance plus Coil plus 1000 Arrows and then Sub as the last move. And you know I had the Reflect Light Screen support. I know, I'm evil and I have no skill, but I'm telling you, I think I lost maybe like 1 out of 10 games with that team just because of how insanely broken Zygarde was. Anyways, Zygarde went off to Ubers for the final year of Sun and Moon before Generation 8 came out, and then in Generation 8, Zygarde was instantly banned to Ubers, as we had already known from Generation 7 just how broken this Pokemon is, with just the same set of Glare, 1000 Arrows, and then a setup move. But the funniest part about all of this is that Zygarde was banned from OU with the ability Aura Break. We're not even talking about Power Construct, aka the one that gives Zygarde double HP. We're talking about Aura Break, which had literally no utility whatsoever. So yes, Zygarde was that broken without even having an ability due to its typing and these amazing moves. But anyways, let's talk about Ubers, where you actually could use Zygarde complete for once. It didn't get banned from either Uber tier in Generation 7 and Generation 8, even though you'd think, damn, this crazy double HP, surely this Pokemon's broken. But let's talk about it. So yes, it wasn't seen as too powerful for either tier, unlike some other anything goes Pokemon such as Mega Rayquaza or Zacian in Sword and Shield. And even with this massive HP stat and still using the same annoying Dragon Dance Glare set, Pokemon in Ubers are way stronger and way bulkier than those in OU. So it's not like you could just go to your Zygarde and automatically start bullying any team. Like I said, the Pokemon were way tankier, And there was a lot of phasing moves as well. Ho-Oh using Whirlwind, Groudon, as well as different defensive Arceus forms using Roar. Also, other sweepers were just way stronger off the rip. Think about Pokemon like Xerneas that have Geomancy and a way higher attacking stat than Zygarde. Zygarde, on the other hand, needs to get multiple Dragon Dances to start doing real damage because of how bulky everything is in Ubers. So while Zygarde was still one of the best Pokemon in both Generation 7 and 8 Ubers, it definitely wasn't too overpowered by any means the way, Mega Rayorization was. Alright, now enough history, it's time to discuss Zygarde Mega, the 584 special attack demon. It's crazy, when I was first looking at this Pokemon on Showdown and seeing the stats, I said I've never seen the stat bar look this green. We're hitting levels of green we've never once thought possible. I guess it's only right as Zygarde is mainly green. Anyways, let's talk about Nihilite. This busted move, it even says legal. So this move is technically Core Enforcer, but when you Mega, it becomes Nihilite, but I just put it as that because that's what I assume it's going to be for the Mega Zygarde. 200 base power, 16 BP. 16 BP is really egregious because at least if it was only 8 PP, you could like maybe Protect Stall plus Pressure and then it runs out of this move, but with 16, there's no hopes of doing that. 200 base power is also completely and totally unprecedented amounts of damage. I'm going to show you guys some calcs in a few minutes just to show you how absurdly strong this is, because I'm telling you, until you see the calcs, you're not going to be able to really guess just how strong this is. Like, the sheer power of a 200 base power move is like hitting a Z move over and over and over again. Most Z moves were like 170 to 190 base power. 200 is very rare, only for like stupid shit like Z Giga Impact. This guy has the strongest Z move like that he's able to spam over and over. So I put Glare in substitute because Glare is always going to be Zygarde's strongest move, because Glare is one of the most broken moves of all time. If a Pokemon has access to Glare, more often than not, you're going to see it used. And Glare is just there to slow down different Pokemon, get your substitute up, because if your Zygarde is able to sub as the Pokemon full paras, and you keep a sub, at that point you might just win outright, as Nihilite is able to hit Fairy types neutrally, remember that, and it goes through stat boosts. So even if you run into something like, I don't know, Calm Mind Blissey, Amnesia Clodsire, that doesn't matter. Zygarde goes through that because of how busted Nihilite is. This is the most incredible move ever conceived. Hitting fairies neutrally, which they definitely stole from Radical Red Draco Barrage. I know your game. I know your game. But also the built-in unawares is very funny. But yeah, so I think you would click Glare and then go for substitute, fish for a full para, and then beat the opponent immediately. Earth Power is there just to have another move and to hit like the possible Steel type, Necrozma Duskmane. If that returns, that's going to be something that could switch into Nihilite because of its amazing typing and defensive stats. But yeah, Earth Power is really just there to hit Steel. More often than not, you're going to be spamming Nihilite. There's really no question about it. You could potentially run Dragon Dance just to get the +1 speed for the same purpose of spamming Nihilite, but at the end of the day, Glare is still Glare, and the support it gives the rest of your team is amazing. Real quick, even though of course 216 special attack and 216 HP are the standouts, and I truly can't get over this number still, like what the fuck are we looking at? 100 speed is something I definitely have to highlight. Zygarde, the original form, had 95, so it got a little speed bump, but this is big, because now this Pokemon is faster than both Xerneas and Yveltal, which we know are going to be in the next format because they're in ZA. Xerneas and Yveltal have base 97 speed, meaning if they run up on Zygarde, it's over for both of them if they don't have a Scarf or something like that. Because Zygarde is literally going to one-hit KO both with Nihilite. I did the calc. They're gone. They're out of here. And Zygarde, like I said, faster than both. Nihilite hitting Xerneas because it hits Fairy-type Pokemon. So this buff to 100 is actually really, really big. And speed in Ubers is everything, if we think about it. Miraidon got banned from Ubers to Anything Goes in Generation 9. Why? Because it was so strong, but it really was that base 135 speed that meant it was faster than everybody. I mean, the ability also helped, right? Hadron Engine was crazy, and even I think Miraidon is low-key kind of overpowered too, but what I'm trying to say is, the cover legendaries in Generation 9 are so infamously strong and overpowered, but it's really because of that speed stat. They're able to attack first. And that's huge in Ubers. So this 100 base speed on Zygarde is a really big deal. Like, it's faster than a lot of stuff. Think about how many Pokemon are base 90, right? So this 100's going to do some heavy lifting. So this is more or less the initial set that I think Zygarde's going to end up using. Like I said, you can use Dragon Dance, but Glare is team support, like, game-wide, right? If you have to switch your Zygarde out, at least you still crippled the opposing Pokemon with Glare. Anyways, let me show you all some calcs real quick. Okay, so if you look on the left, I got Mega Zygarde there loaded up with that 584 special attack, and I set Nihilite to 200 base power. Look at some of these Pokemon. Blissey, specially defensive invested, is taking 47 to 56. That's an 82% chance to 2-hit KO. Corviknight, special defensive, is getting flat out 2-hit KO'd after leftovers recovery 100% of the time. To give you an idea of how specially defensive Corviknight is, Spadef Corviknight is able to live 2 Specs Ice Beams from Kyurem. And we know Kyurem with Specs in OU as being one of the strongest special attackers. Corv is able to live 2 Specs Ice Beams, but is not able to live 2 resisted Nihilites from Zygarde. I'm telling you, 216 base special attack, you're not going to be able to wrap your head around it until you've actually seen these calcs. Ting Lu, Max Spadef, 64 to 76. Get the fuck out of there. Lunala with the Shadow Shield activated is still taking 60 to 70.9. Terapagos is also up there because of its ability, taking 1/2. Look at... Oh my god, bro. It's... This Pokemon is just... It's a work of art. It's really a work of art. Here's what I really want to show you. Ho-Oh gets 1-hit KO'd. Ho-Oh is the definition of a special defense demon. You can see all the other Pokemon, Arceus, even Zamazenta Crown. Steel-type Pokemon sent to the moon. I'm not going to discuss these Uber's UU sets because that's not real, but take a look at all the Arceus forms that get flat-out 1-hit KO'd. Folks, when did Arceus get 1-hit KO'd by neutral moves? That's not supposed to happen. So why is the entire Arceus army getting packed up? All of them, 100% minimum, boom, boom, boom! Kyogre, as you guys can see, another Pokemon with a decent special defense. It ain't enough. Get out of there, buddy. Get out of there. Iron Shreds dies to Earth Power, so I guess that's something Earth Power does. But basically what I'm trying to show you guys here is this Pokemon is nonsensical. This Pokemon kills everything. This Pokemon is goated. And I even have some defensive calcs I can show you as well. Because double HP, it does allow you to tank a lot of hits. Now, you won't be able to live, of course, the super duper strong ice type attacks that are coming. You can see those all smoke this Pokemon, and for good reason. I mean, let's be realistic. But if we scroll down and we get past all the overpowered ice moves and even the strongest Dracos, there are a good amount of moves that this Pokemon is able to live. However, I will say, without investment, we are still in the Uber's tier, and the Uber's Pokemon are strong as hell. So they are able to do a lot of damage. If your Zygarde does take any chip, like I said, I was showing the substitute set. Well, if you sub and get to 75%, it gets really easy to now kill Zygarde or pick it off with one of your faster, stronger Pokemon. But in any case, take a look. It's still able to take some strong attacks. Look at this. Flutter Mane, Life Orb, Moonblast never kills. Dialga Draco Meteor doesn't kill. Kyogre Ice Beam is not able to kill. Eternatus, if it's not Life Orb, is not able to knock this out with Dynamax Cannon. Koraidon Scarf with Outrage is not killing, even though that thing has the boost from Orichalcum Pulse. Like this is still Zygarde with 573 HP. But again, if you don't really invest in the defenses, it's not as annoying as it once was bulk-wise. And something you got to remember is original Zygarde Complete, that in Generation 7 and 8 Ubers used to run the Glare set, it still had leftovers. With a Mega Stone, you don't have access to recovery. So even though this HP stat is great, this HP stat is really fucking annoying when you have leftovers. That really is what takes it, you know, over the top. So that is something you do have to consider. But of course, this is still Mega Zygarde with 573 HP. We scroll down more, you can just see random moves it's able to take, just like weaker dragon moves, ice beams, etc. Point I'm trying to make is, though, a vast majority of attacks are not going to be able to 1-hit KO this, so if in any case, it's going to be the 1v1 demon, since it's going to be able to take any 1v1 trade and most likely win that. But yes, this is the Zygarde set that I think is going to be used in Ubers in whatever next competitive format we end up having. Of course, we'll probably see other ways of using this. Like, I'm sure Zygarde with Sticky Web support is absolutely diabolical, since that also fixes any possible speed issues or losing the Choice Scarf Pokemon. But Nihilite, Earth Power, really the only attacks you need, and then Sub Glare or Dragon Dance to boost your speed. So, will this thing be banned from Ubers? Honestly, I have no idea, but I lean towards no. Because I do think without leftovers, the double HP is a lot less impactful, and Pokemon are going to be able to take it on. However, we'll see. Maybe somebody makes the most overpowered Webs team, and Zygarde just picks off every Pokemon one by one. Nihilite having 16 PP is really OP, as I said before. But in Ubers, we always have some really, really strong shit, and we don't even know what's to come, right? We still have XY Dimensions DLC coming out, and we don't even know what's happening there. And we don't even have the next real competitive format. So when Champions drops or Gen 10, we'll see what the rest of the Ubers tier is looking like. And maybe they got some new stuff that makes Mega Zygarde capable of dealing with. But my prediction is that Zygarde regular, aka the set I was showing you before, which set? Let me pull it up. This set right here. I think this set is probably going to end up getting banned again from OU in Gen 10, or if we have a Champions OU or whatever. I think this set is never going to end up being balanced just because Coil and Glare are overpowered. Glare is the real thing, and then Thousand Arrows is a move that is unable to be switched into, unresisted. You know, it's just this Pokemon, the whole combination of it. Like we said before, there's no limit to the Glaze. Why does it have Thousand Arrows and then all these other signature moves? But yeah, I expect this to be banned from OU pretty quickly whenever that ends up, whenever that tier ends up happening. Just because this set is always OP, and then you really can't count out the Father form. This will be another Titan of Generation 10 Ubers, or like the Champions Meta Ubers. This will still be one of the best Pokemon you can run, because lefties with that HP, that brother's not dying, and Glare is getting clicked 150 times, and you're gonna have to hold that. So expect to see both Zygardes, Zygarde Complete and Zygarde Mega in Ubers, because both of them are gonna be good. But as for the one we're talking about today, Big Super Zygarde Complete, or actually it's Zygarde Mega. I keep thinking its name is Mega Zygarde Complete, but I think it's just Mega Zygarde. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you think this Pokemon is going to be too overpowered? Like I told y'all, I do not think this is going to end up being banned to anything goes. But of course, I want to hear what y'all have to say. Alright, peace.